Nathan Harris and Rhoda Lapham's histories began in Rhode Island in the mid-18th century. Many generations of Harris ancestors had lived in agrarian Rhode Island. It was a progressive society where civil government and religion were separated, and the desire for independence from English rule grew stronger each year. Competition for sufficient land ownership was increasing too. 130 years prior, their first Harris ancestor arrived in New England. Thomas Harris was his name. He was born in a village near the White Cliffs of Dover in Kent County, where he was baptized in 1614 at the Northbourne Parish Church. Thomas's family were dissenters from the Church of England and had joined the Separatist group, but such gatherings were illegal under English laws. As persecution increased, Thomas and siblings sailed for New England in 1634. After arrival, Thomas and his brother William affiliated with preacher Roger Williams at Salem, Massachusetts, whose liberal views led to his arrest for spreading diverse, dangerous new opinions. In October 1635, Williams was convicted of heresy with an order of banishment back to England. But when the sheriff came for him, he and a small group of followers had slipped away 3 days earlier. They traveled south 55 miles on foot through deep snow, beyond the borders of Massachusetts. As part of that small group of refugees, the Harris brothers were seeking relief from the intolerant religious rules of Massachusetts. Roger Williams' group established Providence plantations after acquiring land from the indigenous people. From this beginning, Rhode Island offered liberty of conscience and attracted those seeking refuge from oppressive Puritan theocratic leadership. Among these were members of the Society of Friends, commonly known as Quakers, who faced mounting persecution elsewhere. 120 years later, to Solomon and Sylvia Lapham, a Quaker family of 9 living in Rhode Island, a daughter, Rhoda, was born in 1759. To Preserved Harris and Martha Mowry, living in Smithfield, Rhode Island, a son, Nathan, was born on March 23, 1758. Nathan's father was a great-grandson of Thomas Harris, the first immigrant. In May 1777, at age 19, Nathan Harris enlisted as a Patriot soldier in the Revolutionary War. He served for 3 years, including the winter sojourn at Valley Forge, and fought in 4 important battles. He was able to return to his home in Smithfield, Rhode Island on furlough and proceeded to court his love interest, Rhoda Lapham. They married in March of 1780. He was 22 and she was 21. At a Quaker monthly meeting held in Smithfield, the 30th of March, 1780, women leaders acknowledged they had failed in their attempts to sway Rhoda Lapham for her neglecting to attend any religious meeting, also for her marrying out of unity and being into the fashions of the world. Rhoda was subsequently disfellowshipped. After the Revolution, an era of great awakening to religion and a growing spirit of expansionism resulted in mass movements of people westward. Several Rhode Island families went forth, seeking new, unsettled, and inexpensive land. Nathan and Rhoda associated with her Lapham relatives and Quaker friends who organized a move of several families to an area in New York. Nathan had already lived 3 years way beyond the borders of Rhode Island. He chose to move with his new bride, Rhoda, to an area 180 miles west near Cambridge, New York, near the Hudson River. Nathan's father owned a portion of a lucrative business, supplying lime around their part of New England. With a large limestone quarry located on their property, the Harris family had built kilns, converting the rock into lime, a key ingredient for mortar used in building chimneys and solid walls for homes. Prior to departing for New York, Nathan received an early inheritance from his father. The young married couple built a farm in Easton, near Cambridge. Here, Emer was born in 1781. Within 2 years, Martin was born. Third son, Preserved, was born in 1785, followed by Solomon in 1787 and Seville in 1790. 11 years later, in the spring of 1791, Nathan and Rhoda left Easton for the far western settlements of New York. Once again, they moved with Rhoda's relatives and other families from Rhode Island. In this new area, called Toland, a new Quaker settlement at Farmington was established. The Nathan Harris family located a few miles away in Swift's Landing. The next year, 1792, an account mentions Nathan Harris catching 18 fine salmon by stretching a horizontal net, or seine line, across the muddy Gonargua Creek. Each spring, using his long fowling piece, he brought down many a duck as they soared overhead. Settlers in the area would often find Nathan's heavy bullets lodged in the wood of the trees they fell. 2 years later, in 1794, Nathan bought 600 acres of land for 2 shillings an acre, about $300, using the money he inherited from his father. He built a timber home on the north side of Wintergreen Hill and planted fruit trees. Later, he built a nicer frame house, which still stands. The area's name was changed to Palmyra. One person describes the scene of a 1796 husking frolic at the log house of Nathan Harris.
We had pot pie baked in a 5-pail kettle, composed of 13 fowls, as many squirrels, and due proportions of beef, mutton, and venison, baked beans, and huge pumpkin pies. Hunting stories, singing, dancing on a split basswood floor, and games of catch 'em, jumping the broomstick, and hunt the squirrel followed the feast.
At other community gatherings, Nathan was often the central figure. Even in his old age, he could play ball with all the enthusiasm of youth. Any jokes aimed at Uncle Nathan were always received in good humor. Northwest from the Harris home was a spring in which Nathan kept a large pet trout he had trained to jump from the water and seize grasshoppers or other bait he held out. One day, a friend with a large red nose visited Nathan, and they took a stroll over to the spring. As Nathan watched, the friend, down on all fours, went for a drink of water. As his red nose neared the water, the trout sprang out, seizing his nose. His instant upward head toss landed the fish 10 feet to his rear. Harris quickly returned the trout to the water and informed his bewildered friend that the time was favorable for fishing. That afternoon, they caught a fine lot. Nathan was nicknamed Trout Harris, and his neighbors knew that when he went fishing, they should go fishing, for he knew all the best places to fish and the exact times when they would bite the best. Through the years living in Palmyra, Nathan accepted public duties willingly, including overseeing, building, and maintaining roads around town. Nathan was also an excellent hunter. When he was an old man, he shot the last wolf found in the area. The animal had become known for its depredations, and a group of neighbors formed to take him down. As Nathan rode his horse along a road, he saw the wolf cross before him, and at full gallop, closing the gap, fired his shot, and the creature was killed. By 1800, daughters Sophia, Lydia, and Naomi had been born to Rhoda and Nathan. As mother, Rhoda was a solid source of stability and spirituality to her 8 children. One person's account praised her longevity and her boundless energy and activity. In 1829, their son Martin is famously known for selling a third of his farm to fully finance the initial publication of the Book of Mormon. Earlier, acting as scribe to Joseph Smith, Martin received permission to show the first 116 transcript pages to 5 family members only: his wife Lucy and her sister Polly, his parents Nathan and Rhoda, and brother Preserved. In 1831, Joseph Smith, founder of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, designated Kirtland, Ohio as the gathering place for new followers. After 40 years in Palmyra, Nathan and Rhoda, now in their 70s, made the move accompanying their 3 oldest sons, Emer, Martin, and Preserved, who had been baptized into the church the previous year. Nathan and Rhoda did not join the church. They lived with Preserved, wife Nancy, on their family's 50-acre farm located in present-day Mentor, Ohio. Within 4 years, Nathan died in November 1835 at the age of 77. Records show Joseph Smith preached at Father Nathan's funeral held at Preserved's home. As there was no official cemetery in the area, he was likely buried on that farm. Rhoda lived another 14 years. Someone said that Rhoda, even at the golden age of 87, could still spin a full day's work. After her passing in 1849, she was buried next to her husband on Preserved's farm. Her longevity was a blessing to her children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, friends, and neighbors. Grandmother Rhoda helped care for several of her grandchildren due to the early deaths of 4 of her children: Solomon, Seville, Sophia, and Lydia, all leaving behind young children at home. And what became of Nathan and Rhoda's 8 children? Emer married 5 times due to a divorce and death of several wives. Many of his children migrated westward, mostly to Utah. He had 18 children. Martin. First wife Lucy had 4 children. She died in 1836. He remarried Caroline Young and had 7 more children who all eventually moved westward, many to Utah. He had 11 children. Preserved married Nancy Warren. They moved to Ohio, and Nathan and Rhoda lived with them. There Preserved's large family stayed, and most descendants still live in Ohio. He had 10 children. Solomon married Elmira Harris, but died at 41. Elmira died the following year, leaving 5 children aged 2 to 14, who were then raised by their maternal grandparents in Rhode Island. He had 6 children. Seville married around 1826 and homesteaded land in Oakland County, Michigan. He died about 6 years after their only child was born. His wife Beulah returned to Wayne County, New York, and remarried. He had 1 child. Sophia married her cousin Seth Harris. Sadly, at age 33, he drowned in Lake Ontario, leaving Sophia to raise their 4 children ages 1 to 10. She remarried but died 3 years later. She had 5 children. Lydia married Nathaniel Davenport but died in her early 40s. Nathaniel remarried and raised their children in Ohio. She had 3 children. Naomi. Her first husband died soon after their marriage. She remarried and moved to Illinois and eventually migrated to Utah with her family. She had 5 children. We honor the legacy of these Harris ancestors. Learning of them enriches our lives, helps define our personal identity, and provides context for our own history.